If you're familiar with Roblox animal games such as Creatures of Scenaria, Warrior Cats, Ultimate Edition, or Savannah Life, you've likely heard endless allegations and controversy within such games. And if you're active within these communities, you've also likely heard of the game Ecos la Brea. And if not, to put it simply, Ecos is a prehistoric animal survival game set in the California tar pits around 25,000 years ago. In the game, you can choose to play between 5 different species, being the direwolf, saber-toothed cat, Columbian mammoth, ancient bison, and the western horse. The game is simple. You walk around prehistoric California to hunt or get hunted. But what Ecos is really known for are their beautiful graphics, because such visuals are rare and unexpected from a Roblox game. Unfortunately, apart from the graphics, the game isn't really as good as it seems, as the community constantly complains about the lack of features, and with right to do so. The only updates the developers really post are basically a few skins per month and never any real quality of life upgrades. Speaking about skins, I just want to talk about how overpriced these skins are. The in-game currency, referred to as tracks, is not easy to get unless you're hunched over your PC for hours just non-stop grinding for some spare change. On average, you can get around 20 to 30 tracks per hour. I'll take horses as a reference. The cheaper skins are 300 tracks, but the majority of skins are 3,000 tracks, especially the ones that aren't just a variant of the basic skin, but with a stripe or two on the neck. So if my math is correct, and let's say you get 20 tracks per hour, you'd have to grind a minimum of 8 hours a day for 19 days just to get 3,000. Or you can buy 3,100 tracks for the overly priced price at 1525 Robux. Though apart from the skins that cost tracks, there's also the ones for Robux. But don't get your hopes up high unless you feel like paying $10 for a mammoth. So apart from collecting skins like Pokemon cards, the gameplay itself isn't any better of a situation, especially due to the lack of proper updates, as said earlier. And something that also makes the gameplay worse is the commonly occurring issue throughout any creature survival game, really. And that's kosing. In case you're unfamiliar with the term, kosing, or kos, is a verb for kill on sight, so kosing would mean killing another player solely, because they exist instead of killing for hunger or battle as you would in nature. This is unfortunately a very popularized thing within all creature survival games, even having YouTube and TikTok channels solely making their content around it. A while back, one of the developers of Ecos even reached out to the owner of a kosing Discord server and mocked him for it. Now, this isn't necessarily morally wrong. Some people just play for the PvP aspect of the game. But when it gets to a point where you cannot peacefully play the game as intended without constantly getting sniped by someone, it's annoying and makes the game rather unplayable. Official Ecos moderators, along with the occasional developer, can be spotted engaging in kosing, showing that the staff aren't willing to take care of the issue and instead actually taking part in it. Now, the main issue here isn't that they're being annoying by kosing, rather disrespecting the majority of the community by disregarding their wishes about stopping kosers, making the game just a toxic PvP arena with no intention of change.
So tell me, why in the world are people always so angry? Like, okay, maybe I understand being upset when you die, but sending full-on death threats is out of pocket. And honestly, people can just be so cruel. I've met some weird people on this game before, and it's honestly so sad.
It may not seem like a big deal, and yeah, it really isn't. But it is a small glimpse into the ignorance of the devs when it comes to what the community begs for, just for the sake of being able to properly play the game. Another example is, back when I was a content creator for the game, I would yearn for the ability to change the time in private servers. Whenever you go in a private server, the sun is setting, which means if you want a daytime shot, you have to wait 30 minutes for the night to be over. Despite content creators begging for this feature, they claimed it was simply too hard to do, though eventually, after 1 or 2 years, they added a time command, though you're only able to pick between 4 different times of the day. And you may wonder, why is this a big deal? You see, the thing is, these commands aren't as complicated as they make it out to be, showing the blatant laziness of the developers And their laziness is just continuously proven when you also think about the lack of proper updates except for recolored skins. Now, if I go backwards a little and bring back the topic of Kosing and shitty gameplay, it's time to bring up mix or megapacking, which means making a pack consisting of an unnatural mix of species or groups of people, well over the pack limit being collected, and usually Kosing. For reference, a group of saber-toothed cats can only be a maximum of 5 players. Not only for realism purposes, but also due to the fact how overpowered they get when working on such a large scale. So just imagine being a horse trying to eat a bush, and when you look up, you just see a massive pack of sabers coming your way from every angle. And, I mean, sure, death is part of the game. It's a survival game after all. But being constantly killed by 12 sabers that aren't actually hungry can't even slightly be considered survival. It's unfair and ruins the gameplay for anyone trying to properly play and survive. Though, in my personal opinion, these are not directly large issues in themselves. But it's to such a severe point where players are actively quitting and shitting on the game due to how horrible the gameplay has become.
Ever since the game became free, it's been horrible. Players rarely leave the tar pit now, which ticks me off. Then there's the saber players, I main saber, but the PPL just going around megapacking and Kosing is so annoying. Megapacks of sabers will just jump any poor animal that comes to the tar pit, and I mean like 6 to 13 sabers on one animal. Snow leopard speed paint while I rant about Brea. I've been playing this game for months. The beta era and the game has always had an issue with species populations, but ever since the game became free access, it's gotten worse. If you join an average server, there's a chance there'll be 40 plus sabers. That's insane. And what makes it more frustrating is the developer's inability to listen to the player base. Multiple players have asked for a population cap to prevent megapacks and such, but they just won't listen. Their argument is that it wouldn't be fair, and that they'd lose players. Well, how about the players that are discouraged from playing? Because of your refusal to better the gameplay? You want to talk about fairness. How is it fair that sabers can run around in megapacks, killing everything? Sabers also have the most engaging gameplay, while the other playables are lacking in comparison. It makes you wonder if all of the devs are saber mains themselves.
The Brea devs should listen more to the players. This game needs to have more regulation, otherwise it's gonna end up like Warrior Cats Ultimate Edition. KOSing should not be allowed. Mixpacking should not be allowed. Care bearing should not be allowed. Those are all things that ruin others' experiences and are unfair to other players, but the devs refuse to make the rules more strict.
But I'm so mad. Posers are actually ruining this game for everyone else. It's not funny. We had a massive herd but everyone died because dumb. People don't know how to. Fuck off. First of all, Brea overall is an amazing game, but the toxic players ruin it. And the devs don't do anything. Some examples are megapackers, mixpackers, Kosers. Act. If you keep watching the video, you will see some at the end.
Ecos really needs to work on making sure players play realistically. So I have some ideas as the game has had a massive downfall since the free release. Keep the stressed system, but if a player is stressed for too long, their health should go down. This is because of the amount of mixpackers, especially around Rancho La Brea.
And again, the devs don't actually do anything to avoid this, except for the debuffs they added, which, spoiler alert, doesn't actually really affect your abilities, only appearing to do so just to give a sense of comfort to the players. So I think I've explained the tip of the iceberg and the game in itself quite well now. So it's finally time to talk about the deeper problems and more issues regarding the staff team instead. Somewhere in April of 2025, a Google document was made containing documented screenshots regarding the Ecos staff's behavior. The document starts off with a person going by the name of Jin, explaining who they are and the situation of what led to them creating this document. Before I want to go any further, I want to explain how thankful I am for this document's existence. It's a relatively organized collection of screenshots regarding the staff's behavior. Though the document isn't updated, meaning there are tons of new incidents laying unknown. You may wonder, if they're unknown, they're not a big deal, right? Well, no. An issue regarding the staff is that they ban anyone who speaks up about them.
50K to cousins, post a caption, pray none of my enemies hold me captive. I grieve different.
Not to mention, they are silencing anyone who talks or speaks up about this problem. They get banned for exposing anyone in the staff team. I got banned for leaking stuff.
I used to be an official content creator for the game, but after seeing the actions of certain developers and moderators, I decided to make a video exposing their behavior, and I was subsequently banned for it.
If you watched my last video, you'll know that I am also one of those people who got banned for speaking up. Anyway, not to get too off point, back to the document. Staff, along with some players, claimed the document has been debunked several times, though I cannot find a single piece of proof around that. I dug through potential keywords in the Discord, but every single mention of the document had been deleted. leaving absolutely zero trace for me to find. This just kind of adds on how I truly believe they haven't actually spoken about it and are just trying to hide it from anyone. The only actual mention I did see came from a mod inside a ticket. I've been digging for over 2 months regarding this, and that screenshot was the only actual time I've seen staff even acknowledge the document. If you couldn't read what was said by Leonardo, the moderator in the ticket, he claimed the screenshots were taken from a time where the team was younger and less disciplined, though I do believe it's still important to shed some light onto what was said. Now, some screenshots are arguably just edgy humor, such as 9/11's jokes, usage of racial slurs, unserious death threats, and stuff along those lines. Even disrespecting a member's feelings by joking about their dead animal solely because of its name, being apple fritters. And the reason they mocked someone's dead pet? Because they gave criticism and the developers couldn't handle it. Now, them being unable to take criticism isn't a huge surprise, as allegedly someone has even been banned for it. Along with that, I've heard countless of other claims of incidents where they couldn't take criticism, though I want to focus on the more important parts of the document right now. So let's continue regarding their edgy jokes. I know that I, along with others, can relate to making dark jokes with our friends, especially as teenagers. But I want to remind you that all of these people are over the age of 18, commonly being in their late 20s, and not a group of edgy teens. These are grown people who should have matured past this behavior years ago, and I personally believe these screenshots are glimpses into what sort of personalities these guys really are. I know the jokes that were made might already be highly offensive and enough for some people to dislike the staff. And while I don't want to set a label of severity on these sorts of things, there have been some other jokes made that have an aftertaste of genuinely being concerning. One of those jokes being by a developer named Pigeon, asking a fortune teller bot, "When will I suck lowly feet?" If you aren't aware of what a lowly is, to put it simply, it's the loophole around being ethically attracted to a child, because a lowly is an adult anime character who just happens to look like a child. Even if this joke was made in a private DM between friends, it's nonetheless concerning. So making it in a public Discord server where you play a big role is now not only concerning, but reckless, as well as just further giving us a glimpse into what sort of person he really is. To add onto this odd behavior, he also either commissioned, received, or asked for NSFW art of his dodo bird fursona, drawn by a minor. While that's not too crazy in itself, I'm definitely slightly disturbed by it considering his earlier actions with the lowly feet situation. Moving on, I want to talk further about a point I mentioned before regarding reckless behavior. All of the edgy jokes ever made have been within the server, showing how the owners and staff disregard their own rules. Though as stated by the moderator shown in the ticket, they were younger and less disciplined, which I do understand. And as far as I know, at least most of the darker jokes have stopped. But their disregard for their own rules and hypocrisy still continues to shine. They constantly act on bias against others but excuse themselves, and that applies to all of the staff. They constantly go against their own rules, whether they're small or big, doing anything a regular member would be punished for without consequence, even going as far to punish and ban people solely because they dislike them. And unfortunately, punishing people solely because they disliked them is not unusual. It's something that happened to me, happened to my friends of my friends, and just other players. The staff team is also insanely disorganized and in shambles. No one really seems to know what they're doing, and logistics isn't in anyone's abilities. A reoccurring theme within the moderation team is followed by one word: favoritism. Favoritism, to such a point where Charlie, a developer, let an unqualified member mod trial solely because they're friends. Pigeon, the moderator, also has a history of working on bias and being easily riled up, leading to an unnecessary, somewhat aggressive behavior. Cheesepank, an ex-moderator, regarded Pigeon as much sensitive, which, for obvious reasons, just quickly shows how Pigeon shouldn't even be mod. A while back, a member named Tiller opened a ticket due to being warned because of a situation in regards to Pigeon's artwork. The image Pigeon drew was traced, so naturally, Tiller asked Pigeon to give credits to the original artist. noticed. Members, along with Pigeon herself, ganged up on Tiller because of this. Pigeon was visibly worked up by the situation, and her aggression and bias stands clear in her messages. She should not have handled this situation, nor should she be allowed to handle anything. This is also just another great example of how staff can do things members can't. The situation has been reversed many times within ecos, having several traced images be asked for credit but with no aggressive answer to it. Yet Tiller was warned for simply asking. Moderators claimed Tiller was being antagonistic, though there is no proof for that, and when Tiller asked for a screenshot or any evidence of their claims alike, they just told them to drop it. Moderators refusing to show evidence of claims against members is not new. I'll move on to that in a second, but first I want to bring up that Pigeon is no longer a moderator due to quitting. Apparently, she was harassed and the server was deemed unsafe for her. Now, if you haven't watched my last video, I made an in-depth video in regards of how the moderators treated me and my appeal. Now, why I bring this up is because in that incident, there are beautiful examples of how the moderators refuse to show evidence, act on bias, and just generally be unprofessional. To put it simply, they held several very serious claims against me, but at this moment I'm going to focus on just two of them, being claims of me engaging in the doxing of another member and assisting in ban evasion. I had zero clue whatsoever regarding their allegations of me engaging in doxing of even any sorts whatsoever. When asked about the situation, they strictly refused to show any evidence, give any details nor information due to so-called privacy reasons of the reporter and victim. They gave me absolutely nothing to work with, so when it came to writing my appeal, I had nothing to comment on regarding the doxing. They knew that, yet they still charged me for it, along with denying I ever even made reference to it within my appeal. Genuinely, I had to take a step back, because at that moment, they were trying to lie straight to my face, because in reality, I had a whole section in regards of the doxing, but just not a lot of words to work with due to their lack of evidence, nor even information in general. To make matters worse, they refused to show evidence regarding the doxing situation as well. The moderator, Tavion's exact words being, "We do not feel the need to share this evidence," as well as claiming they aren't obligated to, which is completely false. I have a right to see the proof of these claims against me. But what sticks out to me the most is how they didn't have any issues whatsoever when it came to sharing screenshotted evidence of another claim against me, going out of their way to check the chat logs in my own personal server just to get these screenshots. This is cherry picking, and the odd behavior wasn't coming from nothing either, as they have some weird bias against me due to just not liking me. Notice how this is a familiar pattern. They refused to share evidence to Tiller as well, a person they had bias against. Yet again, another example of this bias against members. Tiller was in another situation, whereas they had been warned for making an NSFW comment. That was not the context nor intention of Tiller, so they opened a ticket. When the ticket was closed, the reasoning had changed, and they even added a claim that the comment was directed towards a minor. The moderators went to such an extreme length just to warn Tiller over a comment that wasn't against any rules, nor unsafe or inappropriate in any way whatsoever. And deniably confused, Tiller went to ask another mod about this, not the one who took the ticket, and even that mod was confused, just further proving that the original mod who took the ticket, Lithic, had some bias against Tiller and was just looking for a reason to warn them. Another wonderful example of their bias is when a trial moderator made NSFW jokes with a minor in a public voice chat. Firstly, the head moderator, Brea, handled it very dismissively and unprofessionally, banning him for only 4 months. Then once he came back, they let him be a trial moderator yet again. Now, there are members who have broken rules way less severe yet get longer punishments, even ones such as 1 year long. The bias is just flooding everywhere, especially considering Brea herself has said some questionable things. The trial mod was allegedly banned after 1 month of being back in the server. The reasoning is unclear, but I doubt it was related to the NSFW situation, as punishment would have come sooner. Now, I could go on for ages speaking up about all of the incidents that have happened, such as Charlie being a weird creep. Not only does he make weird racial jokes, but his inappropriate relationship with a minor is creepy, especially considering how he just treats it as a joke. And then Pioe being one of the biggest edgelords in the team, especially considering his weird joke regarding underage anime girls. It's no surprise he was involved with the same minor. Cam is just a bully. He's said some weird things as well, though fortunately apologized for them. and the mod team is just self-explanatory. At last, I'll be finishing off the video by showcasing screenshots I've collected from people in public forums and comment sections. But first, I feel the need to bring up the $40 saber-tooth plushie incident. If you weren't there at the time for short, Ecos launched a limited edition saber-tooth cat plush for $40. After a few months of waiting, the plush has finally arrived in most homes. Undoubtedly, not only is the plush really fucking chopped, but the quality is questionable. The fur is low quality, along with the markings being printed on. The whiskers are weird, and the teeth aren't even properly on the body. It's just an overpriced McDonald's toy. It further goes to show how the Ecos team are just greedballs. Anyways, it's time to show some complaints regarding EOS. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for staying and listening, and I hope justice comes in any form for the community.
Oh no. Oh no, not the server! The server got nuked! Server! No! Fuck! 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 I wanna fucking... I swear to fucking God! And there goes the server. Seriously?